You're sending 7 guys out to Iowa City this weekend. Go through your team a little bit. You've got a nice blend. You got some Michigan guys, you got some non-Michigan guys. You got Kellen Russell coming right out of the college season. You guys have been out of college for a few years. Go through your lineup, if you will, how they got qualified and how you've seen them progress over the last 9 months.
Well, I'll start with Kellen. He's the most recent qualifier. He qualified by receiving a wild card. It was down to the last 2 wild cards, and Kellen was chosen. He is going to enter at 60 kilograms, which is basically a weight below where he was at in college. I think eventually he'll be a 66 kilo wrestler, but coming off that college season, Kellen's really disciplined. He kept his weight under control all year, and he just wasn't quite heavy enough for 66 right away. He's real disciplined, so he's doing really well with his weight, and now we're just kind of, shaking the rust off a little bit of his parterre. Kellen had a lot of success in freestyle, up through his redshirt freshman year. So he looks good. I mean, he's good on his feet. He knows how to score. He knows how to win close matches. So I think his wrestling will fit quickly into freestyle tactics and strategy. And also we have Jimmy Kennedy, 60 kilograms, and Jimmy's been just constantly improving throughout this year. It's his first full year of freestyle after college, and he's got good size and speed and strength for that weight class. He's had a really successful year, and I think he's wrestling really well right now. We have Josh Terrell at 66 kilograms, and Josh is a former Michigan wrestler, and Josh has been so close to being on the team the last couple of years. He's had just really, really close matches that have come down to either clinches or, there's always seems to be some sort of a little bit of a controversial call in terms of the clinch starts or the takedowns and the times of the periods. But this is where Josh, he's just gonna have to make it happen. He's got to get that extra gear and get the score, so there's no question about who's in control of the action. And he's wrestling really well. His offense is clicking well. He's stronger and quicker than I've ever seen him. He's done a really good job with his strength and his managing his body weight. And at 74 kilos, we have Mike Poeta. And Mike, he's kind of had a slow start this year because he was dealing with a lot of injury, and he was coming off a hip surgery from last spring, summer. And he recently got qualified at the final qualifier in Iowa, and he won that tournament. He won 5 matches, and I think he looked like, from watching those matches, looks like he's really kind of finding his rhythm, finding his offense. His transitions are really good right now, and it's really the best I've seen Mike wrestle since before 2011. And we have Andrew Howe at 74 kilos also, and obviously Andrew has been second at the trials the last 2 years, and last year he was right in the matches, very close matches in that finals. He is wrestling a lot better, and he's a lot healthier right now than he was last year at that time, coming off that hamstring injury. He's really, this year he's steadily gotten better and better. He had some really good success overseas, beat some really good guys in Ukraine, and he looks really good right now. He's put on some good size and strength. Mike Favor's done an unbelievable job with these guys in the strength and conditioning department. So really excited to see Andrew healthy and really ready to compete. 84 kilos, we just recently had Tyrell Todd qualify through the final qualifier in Iowa. He wrestled really well. He's another guy that earlier in the year he was really just kind of finding his groove again. He had about a good year off where he wasn't training consistently because of some injuries, and he was out in Cal Poly, and he didn't have adequate training partners and coaching on a daily basis. He was doing a lot of it on his own, which is very difficult. So this year, he's really, the second half of the year, he's found his rhythm. The training's been real consistent. He's been on the mat, he's healthy, and he's wrestling really well. Last, we have Jake Herbert. And Jake had a great tournament at the Pan Ams back in the fall, and he had a little injury at that tournament, so he had a little break, some time, downtime, get that injury addressed. But he's back at full strength. He's been training really hard, He wrestled a couple matches just to get down to weight back at that qualifier, just kind of get his weight down and get his mind into a competitive mode. But he looks really good. I was wrestling around him this morning, and he tell you he sure has grown into that weight class. He is big and strong at 84 kilos right now.
Well, and this is a completely new environment for them, like you touched on. And how have you seen them, I guess, progress together? It seems like they've really bought into everything.
Yeah, they're comfortable here. I mean, it's like anything else, that early transition. We had, some of the guys that were familiar with Ann Arbor were here, Ty and Josh. Jake and Mike and Jimmy were all down in Illinois for a while, so they had a pretty close niche. And then Andrew comes in, and Andrew's, he gets along with everybody. Andrew's a real even-keeled, easygoing guy, and he fits right in. Him and Ty really hit it off. These guys have been doing a lot together. And, they've found places in Ann Arbor. It's when you move, there's little things you got to find find a doctor, find where you're going to do all your rehab. I mean, you find all those things. And, they've, this second half, all of, since January, they've really they seem really comfortable, and they're really firing on all cylinders. When you're trying to squeeze, the last 2% out of everything you're doing, it's a lot easier when you got a group of guys doing it together, pushing each other, challenging each other, competing with each other. And that's basically what they've had this year. And not only with themselves, but with the college guys. And, it's been a real healthy environment to compete and excel.
And you are really, and Ty mentioned this the other day, that you guys are really peaking at the right time. And do you see that among all the guys in the room?
Yeah, for sure. All of them, like any other year, they've had their peaks and valleys, and they've had good weeks and weeks where they're banged up, but going down the home stretch, I feel real confident. All of them are healthy. They feel great. They're wrestling really well, and it's the time of year to do it.
Okay, and then touch on the plans for this week. You're heading out Thursday, I believe. What are the plans to head out there? You got weigh-ins on Friday or Saturday, and then you compete. So what is the schedule look like for the club guys?
Well, all the guys are flying out on Thursday. And then Donnie and I are going to drive out, and Joe is going to drive out. We get out there, basically we'll just make sure that they got everything they need to get their weight down. They got their food. They'll make weight, get recovered, get a light workout in, get up the next morning, and hard warm up and ready to go. There's a certain number of matches each guy. We kind of already know what the brackets, as far as numbers go, we know what those look like. We have a kind of an idea of how many matches each guy will have to have. And, obviously at 74 kilos, Jordan Burroughs will sit out. So you got to go through the tournament and then, go 2 out of 3 once you get to the finals. That's the only weight where we have a guy that's the situation. Jake Varner will sit out at 96, but we don't have a guy competing at that weight. So we kind of have each guy's number of matches kind of broken down. So it's pretty good set plan at this point. We're competitive at every weight. These guys, at this point, the training, the hard work's done. They have to approach us with the right mindset. They got to be hungry to score. They got to be hungry to be on the team. There's nothing to protect. They got to wrestle wide open and put points on the scoreboard. And every period they have to do it. And that's really our expectations. They go in with that mindset and nothing less.
All right, Sean, I appreciate it.
Yep, you bet, Leah.